I hope you're having an amazing day. My name is Colin, and in this video we'll look back on the Solchicks listing, the launch, the problems, and obviously a price prediction moving forward. What have I done with my tokens? Did I buy? Did I sell? Am I holding? What am I going to do with the NFTs? So many questions, and this video will give you all the answers you need. If you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, because the audience is exploding and I really do appreciate your support. I have the Excel open here with the amount of tokens that I have. I have some screenshots prepared, I have the Maxi pricing, I have the Radium pricing, and I have the Solana Explorer. So as we all know, the Solchicks launch didn't really go as smooth as we would like to have hoped. So at about 2 p.m. UTC, the claim went open, there were so many problems. At first, the Solana blockchain went down, right? So when the Solana blockchain is fully operational, this is the Solana Explorer, we're looking at about 2,500 transactions per second, right? If we are looking at basically yesterday, at some point there were 112 transactions a second, which basically means that the full system was down at some point and then they launched recovery mode. So they cannot handle too much stress. And right now there is like slowly coming back to fully operational status again, right? Because this blockchain can handle loads of capacity, just not all at once. And this just really shows how early we are, right? Because if a launch like Solchicks can crash the Solana blockchain like Star Atlas done before, right? And we're talking about the number 5 cryptocurrency, basically the number 3 blockchain in the game currently, Solana, then that does say a lot. You know, these systems are early, these systems are fresh, they are not stress tested and time proven yet. But this is great because in my opinion, of course, I understand that all the early investors, all the new investors were freaking out. Actually, nothing in this video is financial advice. It is for entertainment purposes only. A quick disclaimer right there. Nothing was a big problem for me because I have done big launches before and these things happen, delayed claims, etc., etc. So the claiming dashboard right now is live. And before, these tokens were not claimable, there were problems. Solana got back up at a very, very low capacity, so there were a lot of issues. Then Radium went down as well. Now everything a day later is back online. It's almost 24 hours after launch. We have some prices to go over. Do I blame the Solchicks team? Hell no. This is all part of the process. If you are going to blame anybody, you are an immature child and you should not be an investor, in my opinion. These are tremendous gains that are going to be made in crypto and are currently being made because we are so early. And one thing you have to accept as an early adopter is that these problems will be part of the game. So there's no need to cry about it. I was very inactive yesterday on all my socials because I just was being patient. Sitting back, waiting for the things to be fixed and then take action when it did. And of course, I did. So specifically looking at the launch, obviously Maxi opened on their airdrop, not on the claim. So the airdrop tokens were first to be sold, which basically spiked the price from 5 cents all the way until 65 cents stable with an all-time high of about 80 cents. At this time, nobody could claim yet. So you can definitely tell when some of the claims came through, which was literally hours later. So this is not the correct time because I don't know which time zone Maxi is using, but like 10 o'clock was like listing time. So about 2.5 hours later, some claims came through and the price sank, right? Now you can imagine when the real claim went through today, the price bang dropped all of a sudden, which is super normal. Something I literally predicted yesterday. As soon as Solana blockchain solves congestion, liquidity will be added, the claim will restart and we'll see 15 to 10 cents. What are we seeing currently? 15 to 10 cents, right? Am I a serious investor? No. Am I using my brain to analyze patterns? Yes. Right, so obviously I put a buy order to buy more chicks specifically around this threshold, right? Why? Because I think the rebound, look, it went even like as low as this frame, as I said, between 10 and 15. That's literally what I said yesterday which for me, it just makes sense, right? I can't explain why, but I just see patterns, and that's why I think I'm good at this. And the 10-15 cents, the reason why I bought, because I think there will be imminent recovery, right? So as soon as what we call paper hands, people who dump the token specifically, which occurred here, right? People panic sell, then there's some buying, right? Which is obviously me as well. And there's some more selling pressure from delayed claims. The US at the moment of recording of this video is about to wake up, which means that either there will be some purchase movement or there will be some steady decline from further claims. As soon as all the claims are done, the price will slowly, gently recover. Because obviously a project of this capacity, in my opinion, will recover. That's why I decided to buy more tokens, which I will show you in my analysis in a little bit later. Some people were able to claim their first vesting and their second vesting. You're incredibly lucky. Are they going to change your second vesting? Yes, obviously. You're not going to get free tokens. So any problems, any benefits that you have received which you were not supposed to receive are going to be corrected. They're not going to pull back the tokens because they can't. However, they might punish you in different ways for exploiting the system if you have done so not voluntarily. Right? So if it just came upon you, right, you didn't want to claim more tokens and there was just a system error, then no hard feelings. They're going to exclude that from your future claims, of course. Something I wanted to address because it was asked specifically in my community. But that is interesting. So basically what I did, I transferred a couple $1,000 from Binance to Maxi yesterday in USDT. I didn't even have a Maxi account, so I had to create one, but there was enough time. I just waited. I put in my buy order, and overnight, even like in the morning, because it was just a couple of hours ago, it got executed when it hit around the all-time low. Right? I don't know exactly where the point was, but now the recovery is already there, so it's already profitable. But I am not looking to sell just yet. And that's obviously what you want to know as well. What would be the moves that I would make? That's what I do on this channel. If you look at Radium, the recovery is quite similar, right? Parallel, these two run against one another. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to close this. The Solchicks token is already available on CoinMarketCap under Solchicks token, where we basically have the start of the graph as of yesterday. 3 p.m. So they were really quick with the listing. There's no market cap yet because there's some uncertainty about how much liquidity they added, which is also the reason I'm not going to discuss market cap yet in this video. I'm just going off supply and demand. That is the only true metrics that I can be working with. In the meantime, I'll keep Maxi tab open to follow the price. One thing I do want to stress, although I said that I made a good estimate. Excuse me. I made a good estimate here. Doesn't mean I will make a good estimate in the future because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, right? I just want to share a perspective first of all before we go into the price prediction, which I wrote to the people panicking last night. So this is CEST, this is UTC +1. So this is about 6 p.m. UTC, 3 hours, 4 hours after everybody panicked. Right? Everybody was like, oh my God, I can't claim. Like I never had this many Telegram and Discord messages in my channels at any moment, right? People were just freaking out. All I said was, just for perspective, guys, zoom out, look at the sky, look around you. You invested 5 cents most likely. It is now 30 cents at that point. That means 30K of my investment is now 180K. Minus my initial 30K, I have 150K profit so far. Smile, we're blessed, the present is great and the future will be amazing. That is something I truly believe. That's something in my analysis I will include today. Why are you not grateful? Right? Especially with such large allocations, even if it's $1,000 and you turn it into $2,000, there's nothing to complain about because now you are $1,000 richer. If you are going to complain, you are basically a sad individual, right? You should check the expectations that you set, right? With my adjusted analysis of the 4.5x, I was right around the corner. So 24, 48 hours are not done. I think my analysis was spot on for Solchicks as soon as I had all the information. Obviously, the delayed claims, all that stuff manipulates the price. However, I think I couldn't have done better in this scenario for my own analysis. I'm going to create my analysis today on what I'm going to do moving forward, because I have sold a total of 0 tokens and I have purchased a total of just under 40,000 additional tokens, right? So my first wallet holds right now 412,000. This includes the vesting, so I'm going to remove the vesting in a second. So this is basically the hold. And I will also write what we have available, because I want to know for the longevity, what are the amounts we're working with and what could I actually sell. So what can we actually sell? That is 25% of this amount. It is 25% of this amount and is 100% of this amount. So that's not a formula there. There we go. And we need the sum. So we can sell at this moment instantly 194,381 tokens. Now, what do I think is important when it comes to the price, right? What is going to happen? At which point would I want to sell? So again, I'm going to create a moon sheet. Again, I will pick up on the latest news, because I think the news that will come up, especially after I spoke on my interview with William, he dropped a lot of hints. Obviously, he can't say what's going to happen, but if you listen to the interview carefully, he mentioned some very specific things that I believe will have specific outcomes, right, when it comes down to the market play. So we're again going to draft the 5 cents. Right, because that's basically the price. We're going to do the times, and we're going to do how much our tokens are worth at that point. So this is dollar value. Right, I'm going to keep it simple for this one. Price times our available tokens. And this is total dollar value, which is price times our total value. Is that correct? 32K. Yeah, that's correct. That's a whole lot of money. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to fix this one, because the total volume will stay the same. And we're going to fix this one as well, because that specific amount will stay the same. We're going to add the times +1. And we'll go times 20 for now, up until $1. And every time we'll add 0.05. So it will go up until $1. So if it would reach $1 at some point, this is what we're working with, right? And people ask me if I can put it in a number format because it's easier, and I can do that. So it would look like so. I don't think specifically it's easier to read, but you guys requested it, and I'm doing it. So the on-hand value would be 200,000, and we have a $658,000 total. So this includes the vesting, right? Yeah, is that correct? Yeah, I think so. That's correct. Okay. Now, so on hand right now, I have at a price of 15, about $30,000 that I could sell off. If it would be 30, it would be 60K. And if the all-time high would be reached of 80 cents, I would have 155K I could sell off. Total portfolio right now, the last time I checked, was 90K in CoinMarketCap, so that is correct. Okay, perfect. Now the question is, what is going to happen in the market, and what do I expect, obviously, for the price to maneuver to? So when we look at the graph, right, when we zoom out, we don't see any imminent recovery. We have to look at the biggest manipulator in this case. So one thing, obviously, is the Solchicks claim, right? The claim from the website that people still need to fulfill. So as soon as the claiming is done, which I assume Solchicks will make an announcement when 95% of the tokens have been claimed. Why? Because it's a buying signal that the price will be stabilized, right? At that point, there will be no more buying pressure. The sell-off has been accomplished, right? That phase is done. So I assume they will give an update when that occurs. So up until the next vesting, you will not see crazy drops. They might add more liquidity, so we might see some changes. The other big factor at play, in my opinion, is Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin making a dump yesterday didn't help. There is some very slight recovery, but it's not crazy. So yesterday it reached 50.5K and the all-time low was 45.9, where there's a lot of resistance, so it went back up. Right, that definitely is not in our favor at the moment, which is fine with me, because one thing you have to realize is one of the best sayings: investing is transferring money from the impatient to the patient, right? Something I can very difficult understand because I'm super impatient person. I want to move things and I want to move it now, but something I'm learning to accept is that it's also the reason why I bought these additional tokens, because I see the value of this project and I see that it's undervalued, and I'm just going to wait. I don't even think we have to wait 48 hours, right? But we'll see. I can close this one. So as soon as the Bitcoin price would recover, it is still kind of unstable, right? So I've been following, I'm not making predictions on Bitcoin myself. I'm following other people to make those predictions for me and to get an understanding. The most of the sources I follow, which are not that many, predict a drop to 42K, which means that at that point there is a money deflux, right? People are not going to put in money into the market yet. When Bitcoin is as unstable and it goes from 46K to 45K to 50K, it needs to either go up big, right, 52, 55K to gain back confidence, or it needs to drop to 40K to gain back confidence, right? So hovering out in the middle is not to our best benefit. Let's look at the Ethereum chart at the same time. It's basically following the same pattern, right? So 4.4K. And then if we go 1 month back, it reached like 4.7K. And here it reached like 4.8K, I think, right? 4.8K. So it is, when we zoom out, still doing great, right? Relative to what it has performed in the past. So we're here right now. So this little dip is not even equivalent to any of the earlier days this year. That's something that you have to understand. So the movement, obviously, I don't know how they predict Bitcoin or Ethereum on a larger scale, but the movement, I think, is very important because most of the market reacts when Bitcoin moves, right? So whether it drops down to 42K or it goes up to 55K, either those two will reset the next run, right, in my vision, right, from what I understand. So the run we made here, right up, I think that moment of stabilization will come off the initial. I think we're going down a little bit more, I hope at least. And that might sound stupid, but that's just the preparation for the next leg up. As one thing I learned last bull run, is to take consistent profits. I have done this, right? I have taken consistent profits. So I don't mind Bitcoin pulling down more. Yes, it would not look good for my portfolio temporarily, but for the long term, they still have the opportunity in the short term to make more gains. When that does, there will be a big influx of cash in the money. People look back, the fear and greed index will go back from fear to greed, and I would already have invested my money at that point, right? The chart, just a little update, is looking healthy at the moment at least. It is on 16 cents again. So from, let's say, the all-time low here of 11 cents, right, all the way to 16. The people who bought it in here already have a 60% gain, right? So just for your understanding, that is pretty crazy. When it comes down to these Bitcoin influences, yes, it sucks a little bit, but you have to look past 24, 48, 72 hours. One thing I thought was really interesting, and one of my main points of confidence, was the announcement about KuCoin Labs. So Solchicks announced their Solchicks are delighted to present our partnership with KuCoin Labs, US $100 million venture capital fund launched by KuCoin for the empowerment of early stage entrepreneurs in the metaverse. When we actually go to the article and read about KuCoin Labs, they invest into the future of Solchicks. What I think might happen is one phrase that William said in his interview with me is that there is a prominent tier 1 exchange that is looking to gain more access on the NFT market, right? So if we go to KuCoin, I don't know if they have an NFT section at the moment. So KuCoin Labs is here, right? But that's more about investments. When you check all the other features, they don't. The next best thing, so this is for the third minting happening in January, is FTX US, which they already cover. The FTX already covers the NFTs, right? So they already have the Solchicks NFTs on their platform, which would make sense if the third minting happens not on the Solchicks website, but exclusively on FTX US. That is combined with an FTX listing, right? For the token. These things would make sense to go hand in hand. FTX being the third on volume, and 15 for FTX US, right? So this is a combined volume of about 4 billion, 3.5 billion, right? A day would mean major things. Now, the connection to KuCoin of the investment, I don't think as an investor myself, I would invest in a project without assisting the project. So then again, I'm not going to moonboy or hype the shit out of it, but a KuCoin listing is imminent, right? So KuCoin makes sense. I think Binance is way too far away, right? Binance NFT run on the Binance Smart Chain. This runs on the Solana blockchain. So FTX already covers the Solana blockchain NFTs because it already has Solchicks. So if you look up Solchicks, it's already there, right? There's only one there, but it's there. There were more before, 3 NFTs. And I think this will give it major exposure, and the token will then come on FTX, assumingly, and KuCoin. So volume-wise, take that into consideration. Why am I not saying Binance? Because any of these, Binance, Coinbase, even FTX, Kraken, Crypto.com, they want to see volume traded, right? That is their main thing. It's not necessarily about the products for them, it's about the money. So if we look at Solchicks volume, the volume is still down because it wasn't able to be traded, but 12 million is not that much, right? If we look, for example, at Vulcan, which got listed on Binance, their volume is 113 million on an off day, right? So the volume is now down because something happened with their wallets. But like on a normal day, we're talking 200 million, 50 million, 60 million, 150 million. It really depends on the movement of the price, but that's already a lot higher than on a bad day. They're doing 6 times the volume Solchicks did on their launch day. There were some complications, take that into consideration, but Binance, in my opinion, therefore, is far away. A good entry point would be the Binance NFT section, but I don't think that's suitable because I think that's on the Binance Smart Chain, right? Binance NFTs. So I participated on the Binance NFT marketplace for Sin City blueprints, of which I have many, right? 36 total, just saying. So I think KuCoin and FTX are then the closest points at the moment for possible entry for the Solchicks token to make some moves there, right? And we're talking short term, right? So I'm talking 2 to 4 weeks until these announcements drop. If they want to do the third minting for the Solchicks NFTs, then that would definitely have to be announced at the end of this month, which exchange that will be, that will cover this third minting, right? End of January, so announce it maybe, 30th of December, maybe announce it first, second week of January at the latest. So we're talking 2 to 4 weeks. With a specific KuCoin action, that could already be at the end of this week. That could already be early next week, right? I was looking forward to actually, when looking at exchanges, OCAX, I didn't hear of it before, but it's a little bit lower in the list, 18, but still has incredible volume behind it. So I read before on one of the, I cannot even remember which one it was, but one of the IDO listings had the OKEX exchange confirmed by Solchicks. I think it was a mistake, they removed it later. But this would be a great entry point because there's so much volume behind it. So if you need volume to be proven to get on other exchanges, then this would be a great listing to be announced this week or next week. It's only Tuesday, right? So there's still a lot of things that can happen. All right, now let's talk about the price, right? Because I don't want to keep rambling on and on and on. What am I going to do? What specifically am I looking for? First, I want to know how much profit do I want to make, right? Then in addition, I want to know what does my sell-off mean for the potential price impact of the future. Then I want to know, is the price that I'm looking for realistic? All right, so I'm looking to sell on a short term. I would like to pocket with this project at least 100 grand, right? Which means I'm not selling below 50. So if I could get 97K on the first vesting, that would be great. Which means that if it's 16 right now, right, and it came from 35 this morning, so at 35, there was, so I assume, according to my very little knowledge that I have and my very small brain that I have, that this would be an easy recovery point, right? At that point, I would be able to bag 68K. Do I have any purpose for that money? No. It would be redistribution into GameFi projects, which I think Solchicks would be fine to be that project. So I could just hold the tokens instead of redistributing into Altura, Peer. What would I do? I would buy some Sandbox, Decentraland, like one of the coins I've been working with, Gala, right? So 50 cents would be my preferred point. Right, at that point, I would take some profit because then I'm holding more than $300,000. It depends, however, how fast we would see this, right? The timeline is important. Generally, I'm not going to hold over 80 cents. So if it goes until the all-time high, I'll probably sell a big portion before the all-time high, right? Which is then 80 cents. If we look at the chart, although not a lot of people could sell at that moment, 80 cents was truly the all-time high. So for it to break an all-time high, there has to be a major announcement, which would be the actual KuCoin listing, which could be the actual announcement of airdrops. That will all the major announcements, and Solchicks has many coming up, right? Which you have to understand. In my previous video, I addressed the airdrops. I addressed the third minting, the weapon NFTs that are going to be airdropped, the Solchicks tokens that are going to be airdropped. So there's quite some movement. These airdrops, they might only influence the price 1 cent, but if that occurs 5 days in a row, we're talking right now 40% increase, 25% increase, right? Which is quite significant in my opinion. So if it would move from 15 right here, where we are right now, so this is right now, right? I would say this part right here, we're going to see in the next 48 hours, right? So this part are we going to see in the next 48 hours. Unless something goes terribly wrong or Bitcoin dips even more, then it will take some more time. But if Bitcoin recovers and or Bitcoin stabilizes around this price, I think if they add more liquidity, the price should stabilize and not be that fluctuant. I think it will be around this range, right? 25, 30. At that point, I think we're already in a great position, right? Because we always want more profit, but we should be happy also in the short term what we have. So this is basically my short-term flow. And I don't think it will drop back to 5 cents, nothing like that, especially not now that more tokens have been released. So this is my short-term vision. When I'm looking at the next, up until the next tier 1 listing, right, tier 1 listing, I'm looking at this specifically. One thing I do want to stress is that a KuCoin listing doesn't specifically mean that large heaps of price action would be taken. Because one of the projects that I invested in, MetaHero, did do a KuCoin listing, and what happened, so MetaHero KuCoin listing date, let me see when that happens. Okay, October 29th. So that happened right here. Let me move. October 29th, yeah. So it went from 10 cents to 12 cents and then to 10 cents, right? Basically, this was the time of the listing, probably, bang, it went down. It literally did nothing. Yes, it recovered a couple of days later when it got traction, right? So let's look at the later days. So that was like a good run, and then it went down again because of some more disappointment. But that was like a week and a half later. So on the actual listing, it didn't do shit, right? This was where we all expect to explode, but you need to give it some time. And it did move forward thereafter. Look at the volume as well. So the volume here was 44K, 44 million, 46 million, 80 million, 88 million, 52 million, 55 million, 30 million. There was basically no interest, but it needs time. Everything needs time. 66 million, 80 million, 100 million, 110 million, 120 million. And as soon as the volume comes, demand comes, the supply is the same, the price goes up, right? It's basic economics in that point of view. So I would say, and I'm going to be conservative again, because I'd rather be conservative. So we say, I'll give this 2 weeks, right? As of today, right? So this would be 2 weeks. This is all 2 weeks, and this is basically a flooding period, right? So whether it's this or this, that is the estimate. So it's already currently this, but any Bitcoin dump could push it back here, right? You got to take that in consideration. So basically, it's this entire period. Then I'm going to say this would be any KuCoin or alike, or let's say probably KuCoin or OKEX, which is like the most one. Listing, not the announcement of the listing. I'm talking about the actual listing and the 48 hours after that. So I'm saying that, let's say 7 days after listing, I'm looking specifically for 50 cents. So if they announce the listing 3 days from now, next week, I'm willing to hold for that long, because we're talking a 60K gain, which is about 10K a day for just holding the token. The reason I'm still super bullish on Solchicks is not because I think specifically it's so much better than any other game, right? I think the game is cool, I think the story is cool, but I see the volume, I see the potential, I see the connections and partnerships that they have that I believe will create friction and therefore potential. Right, that's the most important part. I definitely don't want a moon boy. I don't want to overhype it. Therefore, I feel like that this price point, right, which I will then flag here, will be the stabilization point. So stabilization point at a 10x, right? I believe it will stabilize here. Hey, maybe I'm wrong, right? I hope that I'm wrong. Like, same way that I said it was only going to do a 4x, and I told everybody I hope that I'm wrong, and we're going to the moon. But then again, I was right and we didn't yet. So I'm thinking this would be the alpha launch, right? So there's an alpha launch. There's a game launch. They call it a game launch. It's not the full game because there's no breeding and stuff, but game launch, which happens in Q1, right? So, and then basically I would like to see this but I think at that point you're anywhere from like $1 to $3, right? So it's basically times 60 at that point. So I'm saying, because that's like so far away, and I don't understand people who make price predictions for events that are like 6-12 months out, because so many things can happen in such a small time, right? The question really is, in the meantime, what is the opportunity cost of holding these Solchicks tokens? I need to hold on to my NFTs to receive the vesting, right? That's important. So the NFTs are basically removed from the equation. You can't do anything with them this far or moving forward until the vesting ends, and that's in March 13th, March 14th. You'll probably likely see a dump in price of the NFTs. Let me just look up the NFT price real quick, because I haven't looked at it, to be fair, at all. and it's still at the bid floor, right? So the bid floor is still low, it hasn't changed. There are some more NFTs being sold, definitely, but it's not anything too interesting at the moment. Okay. Now, what are we going to have moving forward? I think you will look at this chart and you'll see a fluctuation between that point, which I sketched. So the 10 and the 20, which will be, this is your moving area. I'll just call it that in my own words. For the next major announcement. So up until all the claims happen, the moving area will be one of the most important fields to consider, right? 10, 20 cents. I doubt there will be any significant outbreak until further announcements come, which will have to be after a 24, 48 hour window, right? So they will have to wait until people claim. They're not going to make any major announcements because they cannot influence the price probably the way they want, with the potential of their remarks or comments to the audience, which I do consider. So at that point, what are we going to do? Wait, right? I'm just going to be patient. I'm going to wait for the announcement. I'm not going to sell my tokens. The reason for this is there were too many problems with the launch. I think therefore the potential has not been realized as far as they can go, right? And I'm not willing to sell the potential because I have no other opportunity to invest this money in, right? If I wouldn't put it in stable coins, I'm going to miss the opportunity of it going up because I truly believe that that potential is there in the short to medium term. And if you don't have that feeling, then you might want to sell them now because you're getting a 3x. So I put in 30K, which means that I profit already $60,000 so far. So why would I complain? I'm not. I'm very happy already with the amazing results we have achieved. $60,000, and I just had to wait 2 weeks. So $60,000 for 14 days, that's about $5,000 a day doing nothing, just waiting, right? Absolutely amazing, mind-blowing, crypto gains. I don't understand why people are complaining that this launch was so chaotic, it's a scam, it's mad retarded. Right? If you say things like that, it's just all part of this amazing process. The thing I'm looking for, however, is more potential, right? So I'm really thinking 50 cents would be a good point to take some additional profits, because I never want to wait and never take any profits. Does that mean I'm going to sell all my initial investing? Maybe not. Maybe I'll just, if I would be at this point where I have 97K profit, I'll probably take out 50. Yeah, probably 50, maybe a little bit more, definitely not less, right? The reason for this is I have a lot of other projects that are going on, right? So I'm not dependent on Solchicks to make me money because the world of crypto never stops. I have a fuck ton of NFTs. I have a whole lot of launches coming up. I think at the moment I have another $12,000 outstanding in projects that still need to be listed, right? That's just IDOs, private sales, and seed rounds from like the last 2 to 3 weeks. So the next couple of days, every single day I have a listing. I don't even have time to be upset because this world is amazing, right? We're enjoying it, I'm feeling it, and that's basically how I want to conclude this video. This is what I'm looking to do. All I'm really doing actively is putting notifications on my phone, Telegram, Twitter specifically, and waiting for the next Solchicks announcements to see how it influences the price. I'll check this price. I'm going to be straight with you, probably every hour, right? So I'm quite obsessed with it. Maybe I even keep it open like this while I'm doing other stuff just to see how the price is moving, because if it does shoot up for any specific reason, it is a specific announcement, I'm going to try and increase my risk by making some additional trades, which I don't generally recommend, so I'm not going to discuss that, but I would only do that with my playing money, not with my long-term investment money. Anyway, that's everything for this price prediction, how I think things will move. Very simplified this time. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and feel free to let me know what you think the price will do. How will the price move? What will be the major influential factor? Drop it down in the comments below and I'll be sure to send you a reply. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.